So in my last video, while I was reviewing the TS80P soldering iron, I showed you all my soldering station I had custom built for the older TS80 soldering iron. And a lot of you were wondering how I did it and wanted to know more about it. So just like TV magic, here's one I prepared earlier. This is a soldering station I've just finished making for the TS80P. Will also work because it's backwards compatible with the TS80, and I'm going to show you how to build it in this video. Have you ever found yourself situated in a paddock full of cows and need to order circuit boards? Yeah, me neither. But if I did, I would use this video's sponsor, JLC PCB. 5 circuit boards cost as little as $2. They offer fast production time, and with a multitude of design options, you're only limited by your imagination. Ordering is as simple as going to jlcpcb.com, uploading your Gerber files, and choosing your design preferences. You can also choose any colour solder mask at no additional cost. And if you're new to designing circuit boards, then check out my KiCad circuit board series to get you started. Look Daisy, free circuit boards. The soldering station features a USB-C port on the front, which can power both the TS80 and TS80P irons. At the back is a common C14 socket to connect power to. Having a soldering station for the TS80P just makes it so much more user-friendly. You've got a nice iron holder to place your iron into instead of having it, sit on the bench and roll around and melt everything that's plastic around it. It just makes it great for everyday use. For doing jobs like, assembling your own Schematix buck converter kit set, which you can buy by clicking the link that pops up in the corner. You could do that if you want. Just quickly before we jump into the build, I just wanted to quickly mention in this video you'll see me working around mains power. Now it's not something to be afraid of, but it does need to be respected with the proper safety protocols and procedures. So if you're unfamiliar with how to work around mains power, then don't repeat what you see in this video. To build your own soldering station, first you'll need an enclosure. I'd recommend selecting a metal enclosure over plastic. Fused C14 socket, a power switch, a stainless steel filler rod, and you'll need to choose a power delivery adapter that is capable of delivering at least 30 watts. I'm going to be using the power adapter that was included with my TS80P. The housing of the adapter is glued together. With the help of a chisel, I was able to separate the housing. I then snipped off the wires that connect to the prongs. Whenever you're working on mains powered electronics, be mindful of capacitors such as this yellow X2 capacitor. They can hold a charge for hours, sometimes even days, and can give you a nasty shock. Most manufacturers will place a resistor across the capacitor to discharge it. However, if you're in doubt, check the capacitor voltage with a multimeter to make sure it's fully discharged. With the adapter removed from its housing, now I needed to figure out how I was going to mount it inside the enclosure. Since there are no mounting holes on the adapter circuit board, I decided to design and 3D print a mount the PCB can slide into. If you're interested in printing this for yourself, you can find a download link in the video's description. The USB Type-C port on the adapter needs to have a hole cut into the enclosure so the USB port can poke through. To accurately measure out the location of the USB port, I applied 3 layers of masking tape to the enclosure and gently pressed the USB port into the masking tape to leave an impression behind. Now I can take measurements from the impression and transfer them to the front of the enclosure. After drilling 2 holes, I could use a Dremel with a carbide burr to remove the bulk of the metal. At this point the hole was slightly undersized, so I used needle files to open up the hole. I marked out where I wanted the power socket and power switch, and I used my Dremel with again a carbide burr to roughly cut out the enclosure. I then used a file to clean up all the edges. So now we have the power switch, USB adapter and power socket all sorted. It's time to figure out a holder for the TS80P. If we take a quick look at my previous soldering station, due to the TS80's compact size, I wasn't able to find a small enough iron holder that was suitable, so I ended up making a custom holder out of wire. And that's what I'm going to do again here. First off, we need to make a form tool to wrap the wire around. I'm using a piece of wooden dowel, and I also need a metal rod that is approximately 7mm in diameter. This large nail should do the trick for me. I measured the soldering tip and marked out the dowel. To shape the dowel, I put the dowel in my drill chuck and used a couple of files to taper the dowel to match the soldering tip. I drilled a hole down the centre of the dowel and pressed in the metal rod. Using masking tape, I marked out how long I need to wrap the wire around my form tool. On the topic of wire, I chose to use a stainless steel TIG welding filler rod. You can pick these up at most hardware stores for a few cents. I clamped my form tool in my bench vise and started to wrap the wire. I prefer to have the first and last wire wraps tight and touching together. The wire wraps in the middle can be spaced apart. If your wraps start to go wonky, give them a tweak with pliers or a screwdriver as you go. We don't need the excess wire at the start of the holder any longer, so I can cut off the excess wire now. Now all I had to do was to bend the wire into a shape that would allow me to mount the holder using a couple of bolts. Now I could choose a suitable location for the iron holder and drill some holes in the enclosure. Now this next modification is optional. For my requirements, I wanted the TS80P earthed without needing to use the grounding wire. I started by connecting the iron to the adapter. Using my multimeter to test for continuity, I probed the earth connection on the iron and then probed various points on the adapter to find the ground connection that connects to the iron's body. After finding the ground connection, I soldered an earth wire to it. The power input wires are too short, so I replaced them with new wire. Since my enclosure is constructed from metal, it's necessary to earth the enclosure. I use sandpaper to remove some of the paint so the earth wire I'll attach soon will make good contact with the metal enclosure. I also did the same for the lid of the enclosure. The earth wire I added to the adapter has a crimp added to the end, along with an additional earth wire that connects to the enclosure later. Then I connected one of the additional earth wires to the enclosure where I removed the paint earlier. Then I connected the live input from the adapter to the power socket. Now I can add the switch and connect neutral from the power socket and the neutral input from the adapter to the switch. Now I could test the adapter and make sure everything works. Everything worked absolutely fine, however the only thing that was bugging me was the lack of a power indicator. The power switch I'm using does have the option of adding a 12 volt power source to illuminate the switch. The question was, could I find a suitable power source anywhere on the adapter? A good place to start looking for suitable power is this capacitor near the USB port. Care should be taken whenever you are probing a live circuit like this. I have the adapter connected to an RCD, and besides that I also have my mother on speed dial, and if things get really scary, some SpongeBob SquarePants sticky plasters just in case. With the iron connected to the adapter, I found the adapter would output 5 volts on standby and 12 volts if the iron is switched on, which is absolutely perfect to illuminate my switch. I soldered 2 wires to the adapter and connected them to the LED pins on the back of the switch. And the last thing to do was to attach the earth wire to the lid and assemble the enclosure. A final touch I added was a brass wool holder. I used magnets to secure it to the top of my soldering station. So thank you very much for watching my video. If you found it useful, a like would be much appreciated. And also, if you want to see more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you to all my Patreons supporting this content I make on my channel. You guys are awesome, and I will see everyone in the next video. Bye for now.